Johannes, nice to see you. Thanks for your time. Obviously, let's go straight in on the fitness side. And the big story coming out of Saturday was Nacho.
Yeah.
Where are we with that?
We will scan him today and then have an even better view on what we can expect. I think we're at least talking, of course, the game tomorrow and then the game on Sunday, and then we have to wait and see. We did a scan with him just straight after the game, more or less, or as quick as we could, and it was actually not that severe as expected, because sometimes when you have a player, he's struggling a little bit with an injury in that area, and then he feels pain again in the same area, then you can expect sometimes that is a severe injury. But it was better than expected, and we're a little bit more optimistic. But I think we have to still take the conservative way with him now, make sure that he's fully ready for us when he gets minutes again.
Appreciate, obviously it's ongoing in terms of the scanning and that. Are we talking tears there? Is there an actual sort of tear there?
No, it's not. But that was what we hoped it wasn't, and it wasn't, which is of course positive news. But on the other hand, we also have to, treat the player well. He was really, really keen on playing that game in Stoke, and we listened to that, and he was fine also on pitch the days before. So that's sometimes how it goes. But I think that with the injury now, we have to be a little bit more cautious. We have to be a little bit more careful, and then take it a little bit more week to week and see when he's back.
In terms of the lads who were involved on Saturday, separate to Nacho, any issues there fitness wise going into tomorrow?
No. Everyone came off in a good way.
Just an update on Gunny. Is it still looking like probably not for this week, Angus?
Yeah, I think again that would be too optimistic. I hope we can get him back on grass after the Sunday game, and then see if he can compete for a spot again after that. But I think it's too early for him still.
Just taking it back, obviously no Nacho tomorrow, so you've got a decision to make there in terms of your midfield options. I mean, do you feel, without obviously giving too much away, but you have the type of profile of player who could come in and maybe offer you what Nacho does? Because it's fair to say I think he's emerged as quite a key figure for you in terms of what you're trying to do with the ball.
Yeah, and I think actually we try to look at it in a different way and see what do we have of options at the moment, and to try to make a role that fits that perfect or as perfect as possible for the player that we're going to choose. I think that's the way to look at it, because of course the way that Nacho's been playing, with his quality, I think with his confidence and his form, and it will be difficult to replace him 1-to-1. So we have to, of course, choose one of the others and find the best possible role for him, and that we're going to do.
Where would Longy fit into this sort of equation? Because mindfully, you said he came back into training last week. I mean, what's the path to him to getting him first team minutes? Yeah,
but that's he's of course in the fight for that position as well. Of course, he's not up to speed in terms of physicality and his fitness, where it's not 100% yet. But I think the plan is that we bring him for the game tomorrow. Not as a starter, he's not ready for that, but it's realistic that he can get some minutes, and then we can easily start to build him up again.
And then the other guy who was kind of out for similar length of time, Fashnak, is he now back in with the group?
No, not yet.
Where are we with him? Maybe another week or so?
Yeah, I think again, what we've planned for is that he can be back with the group after the Sunday game. So again, whether he can be competing for a position on the game Saturday after that is maybe a little bit too early, but I think he will be with the group Monday next week. I think that's realistic.
I promise I won't spend the next 2 months asking you about transfer window, because I'm sure that's about as far removed from your thoughts at the moment. But there was a report on him coming out of Switzerland over the weekend. Maybe his old club, Young Boys, potentially looking at him. Obviously, first and foremost, you've said it there, he needs to get fit, needs to play games. But if he got to January and he hasn't really played, is that a situation you could revisit, do you think, with him?
I think, to be fair to him, we have to look at the situation. It's also, what is his desire? Where does he want to go? I think first and foremost is for him to get back and be ready, and then everyone gets a feeling of how close he is, and can he really compete? Can he get minutes? Can he be in the starting 11? We have to find out, and he will find out as well. And I think, of course, when he gets when he finds out a couple of games, okay, am I in or am I not in? Then of course that decision at the end of the day will be a little bit more easy for him to take. I think it's so it's so much a future thing for us. We have to decide a couple of months from now, because obviously he's not in with the group, so I actually have no idea how close he can get to the team.
Yeah, understood. Update on the first team coach. Where are we with that process?
When's the next press conference?
Friday.
Tomorrow after the game.
Likely, well, after the game tomorrow, but likely Friday, pre-match.
Can we say something Friday?
Yeah, I think so. I hope so.
What if I was to say to you that obviously the name's out there now, Jack Wiltshire, would that be a million miles from where your thought process is as a club?
Not a million miles.
Yeah, okay, so we'll probably park that until you've obviously confirmed it, but hopeful that could be resolved by the end of the week.
Yeah, we hope so. We hope at least we can get the candidate in. But it's all a matter of timing, and it's not the ideal day today, and of course tomorrow you're not in the building. Wednesday is a day off, so it's about timing. But yeah, I think we are close to really finding the candidate that fits us well and will be a good member of the staff, and you know can support the group and give us some inspiration also from outside, which is also what we want. So hopefully before the Sunday game we have some news.
Just thought on Stoke. I'm sure you and the coaches have debriefed it. Was it how you saw it on the day? And if so, with a bit of distance now, maybe where's your head at in terms of the factors behind that second half that wasn't quite on? Well, it certainly wasn't on the level of the first half.
No. And I showed the players some clips Sunday morning, and that they had the same feeling that we were a little bit too sloppy in how we handled the ball. I think our passing game was not well enough. I think our movements were not sharp enough. It seemed like we were caught a little bit in between, and of course when the quality is not there, when the movements are not really sharp enough, then you can get in problems everywhere you go in this league, and that was I think what we saw Saturday. So it is. I had the feeling after the game as well that if we could have kept the momentum and the quality and the things that we did from first half to second half, it would have been a very good game for us. But we didn't manage to, and that's also just something we have to reflect on and see. Okay, that's maybe a statement of where we are as a group. We cannot expect 90 minutes of top quality. There will definitely be moments in the game where we have top quality, and then we need to get closer to have more moments, and also to accept that there will be phases of the game where we have to defend a little bit more so. But I'm still a little bit disappointed, because I think the first half was so good, despite the last 5 minutes of it. I think it was so good. I think there was so much control, and I think it was us really being on top and creating dilemmas for them, and it was difficult for them to put us under pressure. And I think we also started creating good opportunities and chances. So I was really, really pleased with that, and tried to tell the players in halftime, please don't think too much about the goals being scored. Think about the first half. What is your feeling about that one? And everyone was like, yeah, we have done really, really well. Good. So let's please see if we can do that in second. But we didn't succeed with that, and we try, of course, to analyze and look forward and see how we can perform even better for closer to 90 minutes.
I mean, it's obviously fair to say as well that clearly the international element and maybe a bit of fatigue, that was a factor as well. But so with that in mind, how mindful of that you feel the need, you need on that aspect to freshen it up for tomorrow night?
Yeah, it is. It's of course a situation we have to look at. It's never easy to go into a game where we have 1 day of preparation and we have a lot of players coming in late after their national duty. So that will always be a tricky one. Of course, now we play, 4 days after again. So it's not because we've just spent 100 days of training out there. So it's that fine balance of highlighting the key moments of the game where we really think we can influence the performance leading into Tuesday night. And I think we found some good situations, some moments for the players, and also my feeling is that they are a little bit more fresh, a little bit more energetic based on the Saturday game, and really looking forward. So I think 1 point in Stoke was okay. I think we have to accept that sometimes 1 point away from home is okay. But again, the group have bigger expectations and high expectations, so that's what we try to do.
I mean, on that specific point about the turnaround time, as you say, I think this is the first back-to-back away games in this time frame you've had this season. What can you feasibly do with the players between sort of full-time Saturday and kick-off tomorrow night? Is it just all about recovery rather than training?
A lot, really, really a lot. So we didn't really do that much on Sunday. We were in and watching video, see if we can link it a little bit to the game on Tuesday night, and then the subs and the reserves had a short session out there, and then today, obviously, we've tried to prepare for the game tomorrow. But it is about having fresh legs and having energy for the game tomorrow, and then see if we can fix as many of the I will not say problems, but the things that went well in the game against Stoke. See if we can fix that on the video screen. But it's not always easy. So we have to do what we can, and again, it's end of the day, it's based on our qualities and how good we can go out there and perform tomorrow night, and fight hard as a group and be solid and support each other. And again, I think the mentality in the group has really impressed me, because they are doing so well for each other. They're working so hard. So we have to accept the difficult moments in the game, but that's also where you grow as a team.
But on that point, I mean, it is a very, and for some of the younger players I'm thinking about, that coming in, they won't have experienced maybe this type of schedule. Is that something you have to be mindful of? That it is a special mentality to go to Stoke, go to Preston, and then have another game a few days later. It
is, and we do everything we can to see if we can prepare them for them, and we use, of course, also the experienced guys we have in the group. Where I think what also impressed me is that a guy like Kenny can just play 90 minutes again on a Saturday. A guy like Shane can just play 90 minutes again. So we really also have to rely on these guys, and both the performance they give to the group, but also the experience they can hand on to the young ones. So they're really a huge part of the team at the moment, and will be even more for a game like the one Tuesday night, and of course also Sunday. So it is a fine balance of experience, a fine balance of performance, but it's also the exciting part in this, because we get some answers now, and we see who of the young ones can actually take the steps and can actually be a player that can come in and give us some performance and give us some quality. So we'll also get some good answers.
I don't know, as a head coach, how driven you are by data and the stats, or how much you consume. I mean, there's so much, it must be very difficult to sift out what you feel is the most relevant to you. But I mean, I was struck there just at the stats the other day that, of the 8 games, obviously you've lost 2, but of the other 8, you've took the lead in all 8, I think. Won 4, drawn 4. I mean, do you accentuate the positives on a stat like that when you score first, you've got something from the game, or the 4 draws, obviously Saturday, the most recent one, is that, you kind of touched on it, maybe just a squad evolving and dealing with periods of adversity in games and coming through it?
Yeah, it is. I'm pleased. Like I said, I'm pleased with the way that we approach, especially the first half in Stoke, and we have done it also in some of the other away games now, where there's a big difference to where we started. Now we can actually go to Stoke and expect that we will be the dominant team, that we will be the team in control, and it takes a lot of hard work. It takes a lot of training and experience and analysis to get to that point where we can just expect that from the team. And we will try to do that tomorrow. But we're also still there where we have to accept that there will be moments where it's more difficult for us. And there will be moments where we have to defend more than we actually want. And these are also the moments where you learn and where you grow as a team. But I'm pleased with the development. I'm pleased with where we started, where we are now. And also when I look at the group, I cannot wait to when we are in December, because I expect the team to be even better. So just based on what I see out here every day, but we've taken some big steps, and we've played 10 games in the league so far, and just everyone was there in the first game of the season, and most of us guys were in Stoke and home against Hull the other week. So everyone can see that we are building and we are developing and we are improving, and that's what it's all about.
Thoughts on tomorrow night? I know. As always, it'll be about you and your team and what you need to be good at. Yeah. But if you were going to look for a difficult Championship midweek away game, this is probably one of the top places. I think they've not lost since the opening day there. 1 defeat in 7 in all competitions. This is a proper Championship midweek away game.
Yeah, it is. It is. We're excited. It's gonna be like all the other games in the league. There's gonna be full power from the beginning, and it's gonna be intense. And again, small margins. We have to do everything we can, and it's gonna be a tough fight for us. But we have to do everything we can to make it a game that is decided with our quality, so we can get it into a game picture where it's us on the ball and we can create chances. Because of course it's a physical strong side, Preston, where if they can get that, create that game picture where it is about their vertical style of play, where they go direct, they create some second ball situations, some crosses to the box and so on, then it's going to be a hard one for us. So yeah, a little bit like what we saw in Stoke. I think when we're good, we can be really, really good, and that's what we have to try to do as much as possible. Also Tuesday night, with all due respect to the Preston team, because they're a good home team.
Yeah, I mean, the way you've mapped it out there and the threats they've got, it feels like if you can get more of the first half than the second half at Stoke, then you'd be confident.
Yeah, exactly. And what I think we did brilliant in Stoke the first half was that we, against a team that wants a more chaotic play, wants more fights and duels in the game, we avoided that because we were quick in our movements and our positions and our passes. So there was no duels in the game. There was not too much of a second ball game because we avoided that. And we could also see when we started to be a little bit too slow, a little bit too sloppy on the ball, it was like an invitation sent to the opposition. Okay, please come in, take a fight, have some duels. And that's not what we want. So again, it's so much about us. It's so much about how good we can start and how quick in the game we can find that rhythm, because that will be in our favour.
Again, I know it's all about for you tomorrow night, but just final one from me, just one away from the game, because obviously Wednesday it's a big night maybe off the pitch for the club with the shareholder vote and effectively going to transfer control from Mark to Mark and his group from the previous owners. The reason I'm asking is there was that little clip you and Ben, I think the last documentary the club put out there over the international period, speaking to Mark and his son. Just was interested in how that relationship has sort of developed since you've come in, and what sort of support you feel you're getting from the American end of the operation.
I would say exactly the support that you hope for as a head coach, and I think I can speak on behalf of Ben as well, where they are interested in a positive way, where they want to hear about our thoughts and processes and how we do things, and then they ask how they can support with that and how they can support going forward. That's I would say the perfect ownership and the perfect relationship between that, because that's exactly how we want to go forward. They're curious, they ask questions. I think actually they want to be here more than they are, because they of course obviously watch all our games and have questions to why we do this and what about this and so on. And then in some other areas they can support even more, which is for this club going forward so important. So I think there's a really good relationship based on the curiosity they have for the game and for how you can develop a style of play and how you can develop a team going forward. So it's interesting. And then of course on the other hand they can support with maybe a little bit more clarity from the outside, maybe a little bit more stable business on the other side. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, just final one. I mean, I'm sure you would have wanted guarantees when you and Ben were having your dialogue before you came into the building. You'd have wanted to know that there was that infrastructure from the very top of the club down. And now you're inside and this process is moving ahead. Is everything you hoped it was going to be? Does it feel that is the environment you've got to work in now?
Yeah, and I have the same feeling with Ben and with Neil and with all the other guys that is a big part of this. And, we sit here every week and I talk, and it's my opinion, it's my voice. Fact is that at the end of the day, it's teamwork, and it's also teamwork outside of a football team. We have to be aligned on the processes, how the strategy is, how we're gonna behave, how we're gonna create the environment, and so on. It's not only me; it's so many people behind this, and we are aligned. And I think, end of the day, when I'm being judged as the head coach, it's based on how my daily work is, how good prepared am I, how the sessions I deliver out there, how the preparation for the team, how is the culture that we're creating. And if we start to drop here and we're not strong enough in our culture, I think that will be the point where Ben will come in from the outside and ask, why is this going on? Because again, everyone knows the Championship, and you can drop some points here, and you can win some points over here. That we cannot be too affected by. We just have to see that there's development and we are improving, and everything gets hopefully even better.
Thanks for your time, Johannes. Good luck tomorrow. Cheers.
Thank you.
Just one from me. I wanted to ask about sort of long balls and how you deal with that. Obviously, you want to press quite high, and that means quite a high defensive line.
Yeah.
I think there were a couple of times that Stoke actually got a bit of joy from just clipping the ball over your defence. How do you deal with that?
Yeah, I think we were caught a little bit in between in too many moments, especially the second half in Stoke, where if the pressure is not well enough from the front line and we're not close enough, then we open up for this more direct play where it's more easy for them to pass it in behind, and we have to defend with our front to our own goal, which is not ideal. So it's a matter of a compact structure in everything we do. So we have to follow the first line of press, and if we're not close enough, then we have to drop off a little bit and make sure that we cannot invite for too many passes in behind of our back line. But it's a tricky game against a team where they actually want to attract a little bit, and then when we step up, they bring it in behind. So it requires some good game reading, some anticipation of the game, and then working as a unit, and then also accepting in some areas of the game that the compact structure is more important than the high pressing always.
Is that part of the reason why it's important for you to have game intelligent players in your squad?
It is, because what we have to create when we train is that we take out all the moments that happens in football, and then we try to replicate them out there. So hopefully when we have trained a lot out there, they can just recognize, okay, when they play in games, it's exactly the same that's happening here. And that's the way that we see it. So they can also react fast. They can actually do some movements before the pass is made, so we can be as close as possible. But it takes a lot of training, and it takes a lot of experience. But again, I can invite you in, and you can see some pictures from where we started and where we are now, and we are getting there, and we have some players that are really, really doing well. But it can be difficult against teams that are vertical in their style, to know exactly when to step up and put them under pressure, and when to hold a little bit.
Thanks, Johannes.
Thank you.
Thanks, chaps.